Hello, I am the Cheshire Cat. You may know me from such things as the opening sequence that you just saw, huh? Are you surprised to see me here in the worldwide, the virtual world you now call the living room of the entire planet, huh? Usually around this time you would see me at the Red Sandcastle Theatre in the annual Pantomime. And it's true, we did 9 and the cat has 9 lives, but I have never been one to let the constraints of others change my path, huh? This year, the poor Red Sandcastle Theatre was hit by a crisis of coronavirus. Not directly, but indirectly, through the safety precautions we have all been doing to keep us safe. Yes, we're in the red zone, or is it the gray zone? We're in some zone or another zone, and we cannot be opening theaters like that. You know, when you can find a bunch of people and we're all shouting and yelling, Twanky, Twanky, and cheering for the hero and booing the villain, all this little spit comes out of our mouth, and that little spit is how the little coronavirus goes from person to person, and we cannot have that. No, 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 no. But do you know what keeps you nice and safe? Your living room. So welcome to your living room. Our premier, Doug Ford, says we have to keep socially distant. And this is when you would say, oh no, he didn't. I would say, oh yes, he did. Or maybe you would say, oh yes, he did. Because we all know very much that he did that. And it was a good thing too, you know, because of the spit thing that I mentioned earlier. But the pandemic does not stop the Cheshire Cat from bringing you holiday entertainment. I want to bring the panto players to you. I want to bring cat advice to you. I want to bring you stories for you sitting at home bored out of your gourd. A gourd is a circular thing that people used to drink water from. Yeah, you can look it up. Lots of time to look things up in the pandemic. For those of you who've been watching the panto players do pantomimes for all the 9 years, you know that last year I was gifted with a time machine so I can go anywhere in time that I like. And yet somehow I still ended up in 2020. I guess, you know, there was a setting on the time machine that didn't quite work. But nevertheless, the solution has not changed. We have here the late night show with the Cheshire Cat. We have 12 whole episodes, one for each day of after Christmas. Did you know there's 12 days before Christmas and 12 days after? So here we are doing our show for you, and you are here for us. It's a back and forth thing. It is so beautiful. What's that? Oh, I have a present. Well, it is post-Christmas after all. What do we have here? Let us see. There is a note. What does the note say? Oh, what does the note say? Please accept this gift card from the East End Garden Center, one of the many local shops that need support during a pandemic. And what is the gift? It is... Oh! Well, look at that. It is a partridge in a pear tree pillow. Very appropriate for the first day of the late night show with the Cheshire Cat.
All the singing fairies, 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 what you want to?
You may remember me from such villains as that really bad Italian gardener one, right? Or the fashion designer who is absolutely mad about the shoes and going to take over the world. I want everyone to please take a moment to hold in their minds and their hearts the beauty that is the Red Sandcastle Theatre and anything that you can do to help keep that fabulous institution alive and hanging on in these dark, dark, dark COVID times would be...
And now for the interview part of this show. It would not be a late night show without an interview, huh? So I take you to one of the most tenacious and brilliant panto players of the 9-year pantomime reign. We have Matt, the panto player.
But why are you helping me?
I like you. Plus, I'm gonna crumple across the giant at the end of this play so we can make our boy band. YOLO!
Matt, welcome to the show. Is there a Matt in there, or is that the abominable snowman?
It's me, it's Matt, the Phantom player. Oh my goodness. I was just kidding you. See, I'm dressed up as the abominable snowman. This is what I would have played if we would have done one this year, I think, because it would have been abominable. Because
Yes, it was.
you know, it's a pretty abominable year.
Yes, that is a very important word for everyone to learn this year. It is the theme word of 2020 and well illustrated with the snowman.
I can't see you very well. I'm just gonna put my glasses on. Okay, so continue.
Now your vision is also 2020. Very nice. I sense a theme here with Matt the Panto player.
How are you doing today? I'm pretty good.
I'm doing wonderful. I am surrounded by my favorite color, pink, as I often am when quarantining. I want to reminisce, if you don't mind, about the Pantos and ask you, Matt the Panto player, what was the most favorite Panto role that you have played?
That's a good question. I'm just gonna switch glasses. These are my rose-colored glasses. I like all of them. I've played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus other ones, 6, 7 characters in total in the Pantos. And I've been in 5 of the Pantos over 9 years. Isn't that crazy?
That is certainly a lot of pantomimes. That is 7 of 9, which reminds me of a Star Trek episode. So, you don't have a favorite, but what was the most challenging one to discover?
When I played the ogre last year, and I had to be a bad guy, and generally I have a pretty good heart, so finding the bad guy inside of me was pretty hard.
'Cause I'm a tough guy, like a really rough guy. Just can't get enough guy, just always so puff guy. I'm the bad type, break a mama sad type. Fight a Frederick man type, make a not a man type. I'm the bad guy!
I ate a lot of cheeseburgers, which is really fun. It's really, really fun to eat the cheeseburgers, but you know, I had to actually put a pillow inside my stomach, which was not that tasty.
Those, they tend to leave like fluff and things inside your teeth, which can make it very uncomfortable to then speak and sing and dance, which you are so good at in the panto. Why do you think the pantomime resonates with so many people?
I don't know. I'm gonna ask Siri. Hey Siri, these are my Apple glasses. Why do you have that look on your face?
I'm trying to look
I see the
attentive,
look
like
on
I am.
your
I'm
face
deeply
now.
engrossed
Sorry,
in what you're saying.
I think everyone just really likes a fun time that kids can enjoy and adults can enjoy, which is sad because this year we don't get as much as that. But I just want to say hi to everybody out there in case you're missing your annual Panto.
You're right here to regale them with tales of pantos gone by. I have a question for you, Master
Is
Panto
that
player.
why?
Oh, you can't keep a funny man down, eh? So
I'm
many
all
glasses.
ears.
Question for you. Besides changing your glasses all the time, how did you pass the quarantine months?
I took classes. I started to learn how to make my own favorite recipes. Like I love green curry. Maybe not everyone like it, but I like it. Okay. And anyway, I learned new skills. Alice in Blunderland. I played 3 characters. 3. So
How many? How did you do that? That is so crazy. I play the same character every year, so it was very easy for me.
I was the caterpillar, I was the Mad Hatter, and I was a mouse. I used a lot of method acting and like a lot of this hand movement. Like, ooh, this
Method to be a mouse would mean that you would eat some cheese and then you would feel more mouse-ish.
Yeah, this movement is really, really powerful at acting. You know, I'm a pirate, and then I'm a queen, and then I'm a pterodactyl.
See, you are quite qualified to play anything you set your mind to.
Let's see, I'm not sure. Oh, I see now. Yeah, Oh, I remember one year I got to play the Twankie. The Twankie is the person who gets to dress up as a magical, mysteriously being in high heels. Very important. And I remember I had to put on wings backstage, and every time I put the wings on backstage, my arm would get caught out like this.
And then I can't remember who it was, but they'd always have to like get my arm all the way back around my body and twist it all the way around like this. And then my other arm would shoot out like this. And then another person would have to take my other arm and go like all the way around my body and twist it like this. And then my leg would shoot out like this.
And then I just put my leg down because it didn't really need to do that. So that's
Wonderful
right.
practice if you ever get arrested. Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully that doesn't happen.
No. No. You cannot get arrested for being a wonderful panto
It hasn't-
player, Matt. Well, and I want to sign off with you, Matt, but first, let's do our signature handshake.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a really pleasurable experience.
Go!
Panto!
Well, that didn't work. No.
Now what? Ooh.
I got nothing. Hi, welcome to Pantomime Player News. I'm Pantomime Player Matt, and I'm really excited to bring you some Christmas news today. That's right. Guys, I'm so excited. I just got this new job as a Pantomime Player Christmas News action star. Isn't this great? It's so good to have a job during this really turbulent season. Okay, so anyway, here's the news. Oh, sorry. My producer is telling me that we have some breaking news. Bringing you the breaking news. Oh, hi there. I'm the Dormouse. Merry Christmas. I'm here reporting at a cheese sighting. Looks delicious. I wonder if it smells like cheese. Yeah, it smells just like cheese. I wonder if it tastes like cheese. Yeah, it tastes just like cheese. I wonder if it takes home like cheese. Yep, it takes home like cheese. Well, that's been reporting from the cheese. I have to go home and wrap some presents. Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Happy holidays. Bye. Back to you, Matt. Okay, well, thank you very much. Well, I guess we don't have time for the actual Christmas news. I guess we'll see you next time. This has been Pantomime Player Matt with Pantomime Player Christmas Action News.
And over now to the beautiful Lynette, the panto player, who always has delicious snacks for us at intermission. Oh, and it makes me shimmy all these snacks at intermission.
Today I'm going to show you how to make some intermission treats. You may recall our drowning in the river treat. For this, you're going to need a few special ingredients. We're going to need a few different things to make this treat. You will need a pudding cup, Swedish fish, blue sugar sprinkles, a spoon, and the pièce de résistance, a gingerbread man. Step 1 is the pudding cup. Carefully peel the top off, revealing the pudding inside. Next, we're going to take our blue sugar sprinkles, and we just want to create the image of a river. We'll get some of those blue sugar sprinkles right in there. You could use a vanilla pudding, a tapioca, a rice pudding. I've gone for the chocolate flavor profile here, and I think it's really going to pair nicely with the blue sugar sprinkles. Next, what any healthy river needs, some fish. You can place them either diving headfirst into the river, or perhaps you'd like them jumping out of the river. Entirely up to you. going to get tucked just in on the side. And for our last thing, our man drowning in the river. If you like, you can sprinkle a little more of that river sugar. Bon appetit!
If you've been to a pantomime, you'll know that the whole story is a fairy tale gone wrong. And just because we cannot be out there singing and dancing and having you yell directly at us, doesn't mean I can't tell you a wonderful fairy tale, just like in the pantomime. Today's fairy tale is Hansel and Gretel. It is story time on the show. Once upon a time, a poor woodcutter lived in a very small cabin in a forest. His wife had died a few years earlier, so he lived with his new wife and his old children, mind you, Hansel and Gretel. That is what we have named the story after, the children. I am sure you have heard of the story of Hansel and Gretel, of course. We all have. But did you know there was a cat? You did not know, but there was a cat. Oh yes, and tonight I will be reading you from the Cheshire Cat's collection of the really actually true stories of the fairy tale kingdom. Now back to our story. In this house, of course, there was a cat. I told you there was a cat. She was, as all cats are, a fiercely independent creature who needed help from no one. However, she did like warm fires and head scratches. So she chose to live in the home of a poor woodcutter, his wife and his bio children, Hansel and Gretel. The family was so poor that they often went hungry. The cat found this strange because they lived in a forest full of abundant food sources. But people are weird. What can you do? There were delicious mice in the forest, squirrels, and chipmunks everywhere. There were even plants and berries, though the cat knew only to eat grass. You know, if your tummy kind of hurts, it's helpful. Which it never did because it was a perfect cat. Oh, a lucky cat. I will eat a berry on occasion, more just for flavor. To help the family, the cat would model good hunting behavior by catching delectable rodents and leaving them around the house for the family to find. They resisted her ideas, even becoming angry and disgusted when they found their offerings. Alas, not being a magical cat, like me, she could not communicate with the humans in their own language, and they were too stupid to speak cat. Still, even after the insult, she accepted their warm fires and their head scratches. But in her frustration, she stopped trying to help them with their lack of food. One day, the woodcutter's new wife decided they could solve all their problems by getting rid of the children to eat a lot of food. Her plan was true to the evil stepmother tropes that Disney is so fond of. She convinced her new husband to take the children into the forest on a wood-cutting expedition, setting them up with a little campfire, then leave them there, abandoning the children in the forest to fend for themselves. Apparently, humans find this idea quite cruel, but as a cat, it seems sensible. After all, these humans were already 9 and 10 years old, and to be honest, that's almost 70 in cat years. Can you imagine living with your parents until you're 70? It's a long time. So the cat from our story agreed it was time for Hansel and Gretel to set out on their own. She was a bit concerned, however, because these small humans had never hunted for their own mice. So, being a kind cat, she decided to follow the children into the forest and teach them all the skills that they were lacking. The art of being a cat. Unbeknownst to the parents, the children had overheard their parents' plan. I am sure some of you remember hushed giddy conversations between your own parents, about why they were going to do with your room when you left for university, things like that. Well, this was similar, but they weren't going to a cozy dorm room. They were being left to perish. So Hansel and Gretel hatched a plan of their own. Hansel collected little white pebbles, which he planned to drop as they walked into the forest. That way, once the adults abandoned the children, they would be able to follow the trail of bright pebbles home. The pebble plan worked, and after a couple of hours, the children arrived back home. Just as their room was being turned into a recreational den. The woodcutter and his wife immediately figured out the pebble thing, Mostly because they asked Hansel how he had cleverly found their way home, and Gretel said, "We followed the pebbles we've dropped, Papa." So the children were sent to their room without dinner, so they could not collect pebbles again. The next morning, giving the children just a crust of bread each, they set out even deeper into the forest. Hansel had the clever idea to drop bits of bread as they walked, thinking he could spot the crumbs and follow the trail home. Very wise. Alas, Gretel noticed that the birds of the forest gobbled up all these bits, and there was no trail to find. The children were very sad. The cat was very happy, as it was a great spot to try and catch some birds, and they had made their way all the way up the trail. When they were deep in the forest, the father left them once again, running away at full speed after yelling, "Look fast!" and running the other way. Oldest trick in the book, really, but the children were very sad and hungry, so they fell for it. To cheer them up, the cat helpfully slayed a squirrel and dropped it at their feet. The wonderful cat. But that just made the children cry harder and louder. Very rude. Eventually, after searching for a home for a long time, Hansel and Gretel and the cat came to a clearing in the wood and saw a house made completely out of gingerbread, frosting, and covered with candy. Immediately, the children rushed over and started nibbling on the house. The cat tried to stop them because sugar is very bad for your teeth and could lead to diabetes, but the children could not be stopped. A nice old woman came out of the house and asked the children if they would like a real dinner. She invited them in, of course they did, and fed them and gave them a nice cage to sleep in. The cat tried to explain to the witch, because witches do speak cat, that humans don't normally sleep in cages, that's more of a dog thing. The witch explained that she was planning to eat them. "Why would you do that?" asked the cat. "Children cannot be as tasty as the food you make." The witch explained that her pantry overran with vermin, and that a gingerbread house was a magnet for all kinds of mice in the forest, and so without a cat she had a terrible infestation. She didn't really want to eat the children, but she was desperate for fresh produce. Of course, our cat had a wonderful solution. And so as the children slept comfortably in their cages, the cat negotiated proper terms for her service. And in the morning the children were released, none the wiser. The witch gave them a sack full of gold and jewels and a magic map that showed them the whole forest and where their home was. Sort of like Google. The witch told the children to say that they had robbed a little old lady blind and thrown her in the oven, so the parents wouldn't try to get more from the witch, and might be properly afraid if their children would pull another stunt like that, Very clever witch. When the children returned home, their stepmom was livid until she saw the gold and the jewels, and then she was happy. And the father was happy because the wife was happy. Happy wife, happy life. Everyone was happy. Hansel and Gretel were happy, even when next September they were sent to boarding school. And no one noticed that the cat had not returned until the woodcutter's house became infested with mice the following October. The cat still lives today at the witch's house, happily killing mice and getting pets and napping by the warm hearth. So, the moral of the story is, live your life like a cat. Know your forest. Hunt locally and find a nice warm spot to curl up and have someone scratch your ears. And that brings us to the end of today's story. And that is the end of episode 1. But there are 11 more episodes. Episode 2 tomorrow featuring Taran and more to come.